In the financial world, moments like this don't happen often. When the Supreme Court releases a decision that suddenly reshapes long-standing assumptions about legal protection, it's not just a routine clarification. It's what investors call a defensive perimeter collapse. Except this time, the collapse isn't in the credit markets. It's in the legal shields that many advisors, officials, and associates believed would protect them. And today's ruling makes it clear. Those shields are far narrower than people thought. Individuals who once assumed their communications were insulated by privilege may now find themselves directly exposed. From an investor's standpoint, this isn't just a legal twist. This is what we call a systemic risk repricing event. A moment when assumptions everyone relied on suddenly have to be recalculated. Because when the Supreme Court clarifies the limits of attorney-client privilege and executive privilege, and when that clarification means communications once believed protected may now be disclosed, that changes the entire strategic landscape. If you value real legal analysis, not hype or partisan spin, hit like and subscribe. Here, we focus on what the court actually held, why it matters, and how it changes the legal and political environment moving forward. Why this decision is so significant. For decades, privilege doctrines were treated as strong barriers that protected internal deliberations, especially in the White House. But privileges are not absolute. They exist to serve societal interests, not to shield individuals from accountability. Today's Supreme Court ruling narrows these protections more sharply than many legal experts expected. The court held that executive privilege does not protect political activity. If communications were primarily about political strategy, election challenges, personal legal issues, not about official government duties, then executive privilege does not apply. Attorney-client privilege does not protect communications tied to unlawful conduct. Even if the individuals involved didn't believe they were breaking the law. The court said the crime-fraud exception applies if a reasonable person would see the conduct as unlawful. This is a major expansion of the exception. And it unlocks a large pool of previously withheld communications. Immediate impact, scrambling behind the scenes. Sources say individuals involved in election-related strategies are now urgently reassessing their exposure. Why? Because communications they believed would never see daylight are now potentially in the hands of investigators. Different groups are reacting differently. Small Blue Diamond, some will move toward cooperation, offering documents and testimony in hopes of immunity or leniency. Small Blue Diamond, some will keep resisting, hoping to find new legal theories that survive under the court's narrower rules. Small Blue Diamond, others will try to reinterpret their communications, trying to soften the implications before prosecutors draw conclusions. Market reaction. Equity markets dipped slightly. Investors see a higher probability of new indictments, faster-moving investigations, increased political uncertainty. But some analysts view the ruling positively, arguing that clearer privilege rules reduce long-term uncertainty and strengthen institutional credibility. The mixed signals show that markets are unsure whether this ruling speeds up resolution or prolongs the instability. What the majority and dissent believe majority view. When communications involve unlawful activity, society has no reason to protect them. Disclosure is more important than confidentiality. Dissent view. Narrowing privileges this much may scare officials away from seeking honest legal advice. Hurting good governance. This philosophical divide will shape privilege law for years. Who is most at risk now? Highest exposure. Those who were directly involved in planning or coordinating election-related actions. Their communications may contain intent, coordination, knowledge of actions now under scrutiny. Moderate exposure. Advisors or lawyers who were in the room but not key decision-makers. Their risk depends on what they wrote, how deeply they were involved, whether their advice touched on potentially unlawful strategies. Government officials now must comply with document preservation laws and may face penalties for withholding records. Hourglass with flowing sand. What happens next? Timeline impact. Newly unlocked communications mean investigators will have thousands of pages to review. This process includes analyzing content, interviewing authors of the communications, negotiating cooperation deals, determining additional charges or witnesses. This review will take months, but may actually accelerate investigations by removing legal roadblocks. What this means for everyone else. The decision reinforces a principle. Privilege cannot be used to hide misconduct. But it also raises concerns that officials may hesitate to seek legal advice. Discussions may become less candid. Confidential government deliberations may be chilled. The long-term balance between transparency and confidentiality is shifting, and how the system adapts will shape governance in the coming years. Final thought. This Supreme Court decision fundamentally changes how privilege works in investigations involving government officials. It forces individuals, lawyers, and institutions to rethink everything. From document preservation to legal strategy to cooperation decisions. The immediate effect is uncertainty. The long-term effect will define how future administrations communicate internally and how deeply investigators can probe into potential misconduct. If you appreciate clear, fact-based explanations of complex legal issues, don't forget to like and subscribe. More analysis coming soon.